Remember, Newbee are on the verge of reaching the grand final. They need one more game. Liquid need to win the next two. Lifesteal though? Yeah, okay, fine. And the Lion does get the ban.
Last game they banned Lion second, so they might address Chuan completely here.
That was the one thing that stood out early in the draft last game, was that Liquid banned Lifestealer as the second pick team, which is a little bit unusual.
Newbee banned it first now, obviously scared of Matumbas. Gonna go for the Beatsmaster instead.
Yeah, like I said, like the Enchantress was only like really good because of the Lycan.
Yeah,
so,
because of what Liquid drafted.
Yeah, because of what Liquid had. It made the Enchantress really good.
Careful face. What are you expecting from Newbee here?
So will Newbee ban the Earth Spirit, is the question in my mind.
Liquid is gonna first pick it if they don't.
You think so? But
I wonder if you don't just go back to Jerax Earth Spirit.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to go with Fata. That, you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
there's still the IO, you know, like in the game.
There is still the IO as well, yeah. Jerax has a lot of heroes left anyway. If Newbee doesn't pick Earth Spirit now, Liquid is definitely going to pick it next up.
And the DP pick makes so much sense here because Newbee has banned two of the heroes that DP really dislikes for them, right? DP very vulnerable to that physical burst damage, and when you look at Lifesteal or Slaughter already out of the pool here.
Yep. Maybe Newbee thought they would go for the Lycan again, probably not, but they kind of banned 4 Liquid here.
Right.
It's just like, maybe they mind game themselves a bit.
We have seen a little bit of that going on.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, drafting when you don't know what your opponent's going to do is always like a mind game.
Well, this is what I think Peter brought to the game, that he scripted his openings in his first 2 picks so tightly around the other team's bans. But this is, I was very curious. IO, the most banned hero of the tournament so far, and they're going to let it through, let Newbee play here.
Look at the time they're taking. I think that Newbee did not expect at all from Liquid that they opened with the DP. So they are probably more expecting the Earth Spirit, like you mentioned, or something along the lines of the Lycan. So this definitely took them off guard, and they're figuring out how to adjust to it. Like, because picking DP in the first phase, sometimes we talk about it, why the hero has been more successful in the second phase, because DP needs to be picked in the right situation. And you don't want to give your opponent too much ample time to figure out a draft to actually deal with it.
It kind of feels like Newbee created the right situation for them already, and now they have the Lycan and the DP. They're definitely going to ban out the Winter Wyvern in this game. There's no reason they won't.
Yep, and the Earth Spirit as well. I know you talk a lot about Liquid wanting to pick Earth Spirit, but in the event so far, I remember most of the games when they pick up Earth Spirit, it's mostly in the second phase. After they secured the other more important heroes, then they will go for the Jerax Earth Spirit.
I've seen them first pick it too though, just to bring in a bit of diversity. And
it's been banned first phase against them on a number of occasions, just because, you know, you look at that last game is completely different. If Jerax has his Earth Spirit to take some of the pressure off mid lane.
Right, Newbee, they probably won't ban an Aegis Prophet at all, even though it would be pretty good for Liquid, because they have 2 hard counters already. It would be kind of silly to ban out an Aegis Prophet.
There's 2 ways they can go about it. Either they ban heroes that can deal with the bat, so you protect the Bat Rider's initiation, or you ban heroes that might be good with the overall strat of Liquid, which is, like you mentioned, the Prophet, whatever heroes that can help them push towers, secure objectives, team fight. Because right now with DP and Lycan, it's mostly team fight plus taking towers. That is Liquid's game plan right now.
I don't think I've seen Liquid pick it, but I would really like an offlane Nyx. I really like it against IO as well as Bad Rider, and it gives them the team fight control they lack. And they have a save against the Bad Rider right off the bat as well.
Yeah, just not a comfort hero.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah. Well, maybe it is. We don't know. Maybe they practice it. But
I'm surprised they went for the AA ban though. I know they're protecting the IO, but I feel like the bench for Liquid would be much better than the AA. Because they have the Lycan and you have Bat. So
I mean, Disruptor as well, still on the table. You just send the Wisp.
They went for the Bristleback IO. I really liked against Lycan. It's one of the best combos, lane combos against Lycan in the whole game.
Bristleback and I think Bristleback plus Axe are the 2 heroes that pair well with IO. That's great versus Lycan. We saw Fnatic do the Axe Darkseer against Lycan. It was really good in the early game, but didn't work out for them after.
Last time we have seen VGR run Bristol IO. Who was it against?
Oh, this is the classic MVP combo though.
Yeah, they're
the team that really has impressed me most with this combination.
But with VGR, VGR ran it as well against the Lycan, and they were really successful with it. They completely stomped that game. So I hope Liquid is prepared for that.
You need like 2 heroes to lane. I think you need 2 supports to lane to help the Lycan.
Yeah,
like Witch Doctor, like very strong supports like Witch Doctor. Otherwise, IO plus Bristleback, if they take over the lane, IO stacks a lot of Ancients. Bristleback gets a very early Vanguard, maybe a mech. then the game would be very, very like difficult for you.
So Dark's here for mind control here.
I think they have to be really careful of the Timber Saw too. It's really good against both Io and Bristol, and it's one of his comfort heroes for sure.
That's true.
Yeah, because if they do dual lanes, Io Bristol back off lane, it means that their safe lane would only have one support. So it gives Timbersaw much more opportunities to be successful in the lane.
But I do think they will last pick the off lane though, probably. They want to secure the safe lane right now. I think that's what they should do at least.
Yeah, they should pick like all the strong lane supports to make sure that the Lycan gets a good farm. Like Dazzle or Witch Doctor, like those two are the strongest supports in the lanes.
So are we looking at defensive trialing then out of Liquid, do you think?
I think there needs to be something like a Witch Doctor or Dazzle for sure.
Okay, Enchantress. That's pretty greedy.
That's not. I don't think that's greedy though. That's a hero that can secure the early game for them.
Yeah.
Despite having a jungler, in most cases might mean you being greedy. But Enchantress is one of those few junglers that provide you in terms of early game aggression, so you can actually control the lanes much better.
That's the question I have for you though. That how do you structure the rotations here? Because Enchantress to me always feels like a hero that's better when she's determining where the action occurs. And Liquid here now have a specific area of the map. Newbee are going to threaten that bottom lane, right, with the Bristle Io.
You have to be very reactive this game with the Enchantress. I genuinely don't like that.
Basically, the other thing that Alan is bringing up is, if you're the Enchantress this game, in your mind, do you go to the enemy safe lane because there's only two heroes there to actually destroy their safe lane, or you choose to spend your early game to stabilize the safe lane?
If you go to the enemy jungle with the Enchantress, you need something like a Timber Saw that can take over the game. You do not want to pick a hero that, you know, what's left? You don't want to have something like a Tidehunter.
But Timber doesn't have a initiating spell though. Like the last game we saw Slada, it was so good because Slada could have initiated the ganks for the Ench to come in.
Winter, is there any, I mean, what do Liquid do though for their other safe lane support? Is there any one hero, a Witch Doctor or something?
Witch Doctor is really good.
Yeah, I think Witch Doctor.
Do you think Lycan Witch Doctor can go face to face with Io Bristle?
Witch Doctor with Howl deals like 90 damage per hit. It's actually really, really strong, and the cast is a really good counter to Io. Whenever they relocate in, you throw it at him, then you put down a death ward and you just focus down the Io.
Oh, this is terrifying.
Going back, Juggernaut Io is such a strong combo as well. The healing ward for both, and it just heals so much.
I think most importantly right now is the lanes. They have quite strong lanes, Juggernaut and Bristol plus Io.
10 seconds remaining.
Their last pick for their support, they can go for anything that, as long as it strengthens the lane, maybe go for a support that can deal with the Ench creeps.
I think what they do go for the Earth Spirit.
Yeah, I think they have to go back to that.
So it tells you that they're gonna play a lot of roaming in the early game because it's very difficult for Osprey and Lycan to sit in the lane and to make sure that both of the heroes have a good time against Io Bristle.
That's what we have seen in the group stage. As soon as Matumba Man is up against the hero combination that's very hard to deal with, they just want to take the aggression to the other team.
You said it before the series, right? Best offense is the best defense.
And then make space for Matumba Man that way. But Mind Control really needs an offlane that can take over the game at this point.
And they're going to ban the Darkseer. I'm totally with you, by the way, on the Timber. I think that's the way to go here.
The Timber would be really amazing. They only have one hero to deal with him right now, and other than that, he has a completely free game.
I just think you need burst too, because you look at the Darkseer and he's got Iron Shell on you. That's great. Bristleback loves damage over time, especially with a Wisp.
And on top of that, the reactive armor, Bristleback does nothing to you. You're practically immune to him. And then you have the two tanky frontliners, Lycan, as well as the Timber Saw. And then you protect DP a lot just by having those two. It's very hard to bypass them.
Yep, so basically their early game is gonna just trying to disrupt all the other lanes. So hopefully in the mid game Lycan can catch up. Enchantress and Earthspray will be roaming a lot, trying to pressure the Bat, trying to pressure the Jug. Maybe it's a bit more difficult to kill the Jug, but Bat Rider is definitely going to be vulnerable in the early game.
And we're going to see a solo mid Bat Rider as well.
Yep.
Now the other option that we haven't talked about for Liquid is you just go all in for the push with Nature's Prophet. I don't...
Yeah, he talked about that.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
Okay, we've talked about that earlier. All right.
But they have like two really hard counters already.
Yeah, that's my...
Do you really want to go into that? Because
my fault.
Your offlaner is going to be the most farmed hero for you this game.
Don't you think it fits their playstyle?
Because it definitely does. And we've seen him run it against many counters before, and he still dominated the game completely. So, not out of the question. Why the Lich Ban though? I really thought Bristol Io, it was clear they're going to be offlane. They would never pick a Lich for me.
Mind Control is going to play Weaver. Has he played the hero in the event?
I don't think so. Has he played Weaver in this
Maybe
event?
one game, right?
I feel like we've had one
I think
game.
one game, right? Probably
No,
one.
I mean, I'm looking back at his matches.
Maybe it
here,
was Epicenter, he had
and I
one
don't
game.
see it.
Yeah.
Do they actually think it's like a middle Bristol or what? Like for me, it's really clear. Io Bristol is gonna be off lane. They want to like match the Weaver against the Barrier or something. Like I don't know why they would do that.
In fact, they've only played the Weaver twice in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
But that was not on mind control, was it?
Maybe they want to pressure the Jug with the Weaver, Weaver plus Enchantress lane. Even though kill potential wise it's not that great, but you can pressure the Jug. You can out CS him because your range, and you have the Enchantress creeps, most likely helping you out.
Yeah, so my control last played Weaver 6 months ago at WCA. It was against the Lions.
Yeah. Will we see a Rubik game though, since there's Shukuchi?
Well, I'll just predict the last hero.
Unfortunately, we've lost the draft down here, so we're going to have to use the one behind us
So
right
they
now.
did go
just
for
to
Shadow
find out.
Shaman.
So Shadow Shaman on the last one.
Really good against
Cool.
the Weaver.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah, but-
risky in the laning phase.
It's very
against-
risky. It's really greedy.
I think Liquid have an opening here with that early
They do.
roam.
They do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Final thoughts.
I think Liquid are going to need this
Yeah,
up.
I'm going with the Enchantress again.
Yeah, like this time the roles are reversed. Liquid's gonna put on the aggression, and Newbee needs to weather the storm. So I think Liquid's gonna take
Alright.
this one.
Okay. Thank you very much, all three of our panelists. We'll hear more from them once more in the at the end of this particular game. Will it be the end of the series though? Newbie on the verge of making the grand final, or can Team Liquid make a comeback? Let's find out as we go back to our commentary team of Merlini and Toby1.
Thank you very much, Red. Yes, Merlini, we're back here for game number 2, Newbee versus Liquid. It feels a little greedy for the Newbee lineup, but luckily, kids of all ages get to enjoy this matchup.
Nothing gets this crowd roaring like a good game of Dota, so let's have it.
I would love to go to it.
Battle.
And here we go, game number 2, Team Liquid going up against Newbee. Will we actually see a deciding matchup, Merlini? It looks like Liquid are off to a good start draft-wise.
And Newbee with a surprise Shadow Shaman last pick when Chuan's Lion is getting first phase ban every game. This seems like an appropriate solution. They definitely needed the lockdown versus the Weaver.
Yeah, that was one thing we were talking about a lot. It's just the fact, like, Newbee, where do you find your stuns? Where do you find your control? You don't really have it. Like, normally with KP's heroes, you've got that big, like, AoE Ravage, you've got Crushes from Slatters, you've got all these things going to work, but you don't really have it from him. You don't get it from the Juggernaut. You get it in a little bit from the Batrider.
However, Liquid's push is quite formidable, and their 5-man, I think, is superior to Newbee's, unless the Bristleback gets very, very farmed.
And maybe that's where we should be, like, turning our attention. Like, what happens? How does Newbee ensure the laning phase?
We'll make sure that they have the Ancients available to them if they fall behind. This is a very common strategy that you'll see with the Wisp Bristleback in the offlane. And it looks like they will be able to get that Sentry Ward dewarded.
Well, no kills coming along with the D-wards for this game at least. But yeah, Matumberman, it still requires Newbee to come down there and have a quick little peek over for it.
Yeah, you just can't leave a Lycan unchecked because he just buffs up your other lane so much when he has high levels of Howl. So I like Newbee's approach. Always contest the Lycan.
The funny thing is too, like, because Karkar is coming down, more than likely he's going to walk off to the side, and they will, in fact, yeah, they see the Obs Ward now, the creep wave comes over.
Sometimes you like to wait a little bit just so you get like the double regen. Like you can get Bristle to take some damage and then you eat it with Wisp, and then you'll have like double regen.
Yeah.
4x regen.
He actually tangoed it straight from the start anyway, so he just wanted it gone so he can get to the lane. And then they push Matumberman straight out of lane. 4 cool spray stacks up from KP. Matumba's been forced out now. We've seen this storyline before. It happened only a couple of minutes ago in game number 1.
And Kaka missed a stack actually on that first one. He tried to drag it down, but it caught the corner of it right as he went there. It's much safer to stack to the left.
I want to keep my eyes on this bottom lane as much as I do want to watch that mid lane too. Fada versus Moo. Who can get the upper hand here? Difficult for Moo to initiate when you're going up against Spirit Siphon, but if there's enough sticky napalm charges, potentially you could actually see first blood happening there in the mid lane. While Kuro is taking on the same role that Chuan did before. Early Satyrs, He'll combo up with Mind Control, and they're just trying to make it so Chorn, who doesn't have any consumables, there's no health on him to work with, just has to hold back. And Hal's going to have to actually go for the, he's already done it. He went for the early point up in the healing ward. Difficult to keep that alive. In fact, now with a blast, Hal, he has to stop the spin. The damage physically is still there. Mind Control will take first blood against the safe lane Juggernaut.
Yeah, getting a little bit greedy there. Nice creep skip coming out from Kuro to put the Juggernaut in that sort of situation.
And now Chorn, like, what do you even do? You say the laning phase is really, really weak for a Shadow Shaman. Now you're really seeing it. And then you bring the Juggernaut back. At least Hal's got his spin, but there's a lot of physical damage, and because of the Enchantress army, there's a lot of sustain when they go behind the tower as well.
And Mind Control, as the Weaver, generally has a tough time in the offlane. It's just not a great matchup for him. But when you have a Wisp in the offlane, you only have one support in that safe lane, it's very easy for him to get level 2, and now he's already level 3.5. And once he gets that Swarm up, it's going to be very difficult for this Juggernaut to survive, let alone the Shadow Shaman.
Keep your eyes towards mid. Jirax going to boulder himself forward, waiting for the gank over there, but he is level 2, but Moon makes it towards the ancient area. Jirax can stay in hot pursuit. He's still ready to go again if possible, as the creep wave stays with Mu too. Kuro's going to rotate himself over. Jirax, yep, still not letting it go. Gets the kick off, boulder forward, slow down Mu. Vada now with the Spirit Siphon. Mu's going to go down. And Team Liquid, this time, they are the ones finding the advantage in the early game.
Yeah, Matama Man's doing A-okay in the bottom lane, 13 CS, 14 just tied with the Bristleback, so Newbee going to have to get some more stacks up if they want Batrider to be a participant in this game.
But that means you got to pull people off the lane. Like Chorn has to stop doing, like he's trying to throw the lane as much as he can so Hal can fight and farm underneath his own tier 1 tower, which is kind of like, it's a catch-22 because then you just fight underneath your own tier 1 tower, but the Enchantress army can also just chase you in there.
I think if Enchantress goes back to top, Newbee can do a lane swap and just throw Bristle up there, because what they want to do is just not die in the early game. They catch up their stacks, get the blink on the Batrider, and
not exactly what you want to have happen, especially if that kick was able to connect, but he keeps sticking napalm charges up, making it difficult for Fada to keep the pressure on the Batrider.
And Kaka not really interested in healing up old Mu, and Mu's going to have a tough time regenning up without any rune access. There is 3 stack of the Ancients, so KP can take that as he desires. And Chuan really struggling for levels.
This is something that we see from Newbee, where KP gets majority of the farm, just because they make his lane so much better. Chuan, okay, he shackles to cancel off the tornado. However, there's a large amount of damage being done to him. And Wildwing will keep the chase going, and Chuan, he'll shock. He just wants the Wildwing dead, and it's gonna happen, but Chuan at a 17 HP to make it work. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Mu's gonna have a crack over. Fada dropping low with the help of Kaka. They find one. The Spirits out to maximum range. Kaka trying to reach Jirax, but then Jirax can also turn Kaka. He's gonna get trapped up. His tether is available. Goes all the way back over to Mu, but Mind Control's already here in the mid. Finds one. The kick was there from Jirax, but it's Mu with the lasso, holding Mind Control through the tier 1 tower, but with one more attack into the trees. It's a double kill for Mind Control, giving him 3 out of the 4 kills the Team Liquid have claimed so far.
Superb movement by Team Liquid, throwing their 2 offlaners into that mid lane, and I was like, oh, okay, I can do some damage over here. They just end up getting wiped.
It's that good rotation from Team Liquid. We were expecting like maybe Newbee to switch their lanes up, but in this case...
And now Kuro, I think, scouted out that stack. They're pinging it out right now. Don't really think they can take it, maybe with Swarm and Lycan at some point, but they ideally want to jack it. And looks like Kuro has blocked it out with that sentry.
Yeah, so no more stacking at least.
Radiant's top tower.
Kaka's coming over. It's around that same time that he wants to stack it, so if Kuro backs up now, they won't realize that he's actually messed with it.
And then they might interrupt Kaka at the rune. He's taking a lot of damage from these ancient creeps.
But they're also looking at another target. It's Chorn, who's underneath the Observer Ward in the mid lane. Like with the tornado starting up from Kuro, you're keeping the supports away, you're keeping the creep wave out, and allowing Fada, who doesn't have Exorcism yet, to inflict damage onto a tier 1 tower. With Mind Control as well, Shakushing himself across. He's in that narrow path of Fog of War that Newbee just can't see anything.
And Liquid's approach is just completely avoid the Bristleback. The Bristleback Wisp is really strong. They're actually fighting, but without the stack available to them, without any heroes down in the Liquid bottom lane,
yep.
they're not really getting anything accomplished.
No, not until you hit maybe that level 6 over on the IO, or Bristleback is able to have enough stacks up that he does a heavy amount of physical damage into the tower. But this is still a level 6 Bristleback. It does mean he has the wall path available, and with the help of Kaka, he can just stand alive. So they do get a decent trade-off. And this is the strength of the Bristleback. Great during team fights, but it's this big burst of physical damage, which you're not always expecting. Until Matumberman tries to come for the kill. He sends the Wolf in. He actually finds Kaka over in the tree line. Kaka, he needs to tether himself out of here. He's gone in deeper with the Howl. He actually decides just to start the TP. The damage, they don't get there in time. Newbee will get away safely.
Ooh, nice play by both Matumberman and
top
the Wisp.
lane, Howl's also taking considerable damage. He's already got that Scarab Beetle on him, but manages to break free underneath his own tier 1 tower. But this is mind control just posturing on that top lane and forces Howl all the way back to base.
Wow, and Newbee placed a sentry ward a little bit below their mid T2. They already got the D ward in the one in the lane, and it actually sees the one at the secret shop too, if they can get up there.
Lucky Ducks. Kaka will come over because he's going to be there for the stack as well. So he'll see the ward.
And it's nighttime, it's a little bit hard to see.
Funny thing is though, he still can't stack. That sentry from the Radiant side is still in position. So no matter how hard he tries, he just cannot stack this Ancient.
And with daytime, he should be able to see it.
Looks like Chorn's preparing himself up on this top lane. Howl's coming in too. Omni Slash is available, but you've still got Nami there, and the T1 tower's already lost.
And KP kind of stranded out in this bottom lane, really wanting to get this tower. I don't think Liquid can defend this in time. Maybe a deny from the Wolves.
Looks like to be what they're attempting with the Quill Spray stacks. Is a little bit harder. It will belong to KP. He'll get the last hit. Giving him some much needed money. Moo, hello top lane, Invis Rune. Right on top of mind control. Chorn's coming over. The Enchantress creep will find him out too. They hex up over on the creep, so there's no Centaur stop until now. But they walked in close to allow that to happen. And mind control just time-lapse off all of the damage.
Dang, Kuro, what a player. Right there with the Centaur.
Right place, right time. Right Kuro.
And now, just gotta farm up your stacks right now, Newbee. Moose still needs 600 gold into that Blink Dagger. And no sign of Bristleback. I guess we see the Buckler. Could be Vanguard and the Crimson Guard, which I think is actually very good versus Liquid's lineup. Mech is the standard.
Say, Kaka, you saw that one, man. He walked straight past the Observer Ward instead of walking away from it.
It's an unusual one, though.
He's also tried to stack up the Ancients now 4 times, and finally just says, enough is enough. Throw down a Sentry Ward, and he finds the Sentry in its last second.
I think they should take it out with the Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman really needs his level 6, so they can threaten some towers and have some buff spells for their team fight. At this point, he's just very, very useless. Just a sitting duck with his shackles.
Well, he's going to try and play on this top lane. Walks in, the Sentry Ward's down, mind control, Shikuchi's up and away from the detection of Chuan. They're maybe hoping he'd go into the tree line.
And KP, is he going to get this stack off?
It's going to be close.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get it.
Well, the Lizards are backing up, and yeah, the Mud Golems actually got stuck, so no stack for him. Damn, they really need that burst damage to come in for the Bristleback. Because that's the burst farm, because that's his mech. Once the mech is there, the Newbie's team fight becomes a lot better, and they can start 4 to 5 manning, especially up against Exorcism. Until that point, they're probably just going to keep dodging.
Mother smoked. Move up. Moving up to try and control the dire jungle. Anticipating Moo's gonna be there farming his Blink Dagger, especially after that failed lasso, but Howl might be in a little bit of trouble. Gonna have to have a sick play from the Earth Spirit, though.
Yeah, Jirax needs to get this kick, and well, there's a Troll Trap, the Silence, Howl, where's that spin? He can't get it off, the Centaur stop is perfect. And of all things that do the last point of damage, it was the Fist of the Mud Golem, which was the one to bring down the Jugger.
Jirax spot on with his Earth Spirit play.
And now they even commit Exorcism. Fortification gets burned by Newbee on their tier 2. So I'll waste a little bit of time, but the result's still going to be the same. Team Liquid will take this tier 2 tower up on the top lane. They scan to make sure that Newbee is not coming to defend it at all. So there's no surprise smoke push up by Newbee.
Yeah, they're playing around this Batrider Blink Dagger very, very well, and they will smoke up. It will be with Chuan near the Dire Secret Shop, hoping to catch up with Matumberman, but he's already headed back to base.
And he's a long way away from Newbee. It doesn't look like anyone else from Liquid need to even go over to the jungle just yet.
Oh, that's really smart from Liquid. They scan, they know that Battle Rider's not top. He wasn't in the jungle farming his blink, so they assumed that he already had this blink. And knowing that they're gonna move out down.
Well, that helps. The Observer was now going to see Fada coming over towards that small camp, and Moo, he turns around, he wants to jump, and well, Firefly, Blink, Lasso, Chorn's going to be here as well. They're going to drop the Mass Serpent Ones if they want the extra damage, but a kick from Jirax, and the silence makes it difficult. Fada still caught inside the Firefly. He'll go down with the Magnetize turned on. Karka, Stick Charge will keep him alive, but not for much longer. The walls move forward, and now Matumban has just been blocked up by the creep. It was the Centaur that wasn't allowing him forward, but Mind Control on the back lines finds Chorn. He wants Moo as well. Doesn't have enough damage for that, and he understands this too. So he moves on to a better target. It's Moo as well as KP. The stun from Kuro needs a little bit more damage with the Impetus. It could go to work, but still Mind Control all over the Bat Rider. But how? In for the Omni Slash. Revenge is swift and just. It is, however, over on Jirax, and how difficult time turns into the spin underneath that tier 2 tower, trying to kill off Kuro, but with the TP support on the way, Fada also wants to try and catch up to him. Mind Control right in front, Chikuchi's in front. He's not the healthiest of players. And with the bugs on him, Fada, he's not finding an opening here. Newbee will be able to get back out of this.
And the Shadow Shaman just food for the Weaver at this point. Just way too underfarmed in that Shadow Shaman. Really need to get something off the back of the Mass Serpent Ward, but he didn't want to commit it to the Death Prophet. They thought they had him without it.
I'm actually wondering how they even control Mind Control. He's sitting at 5 kills for 1 assist, 0 deaths, but it's the Lincoln Sphere build which is coming in for him. The Bat Rider jump initiation isn't going to be enough for Moo anymore.
Newbee thought it was. They thought it'd be enough with the Shadow Shaman and enough with the Bat Rider, but it's
once the Lincolns is up, then you're in trouble.
Even before that, I think the nice play from Kuro, it doesn't look like they have a defensive support for the way that Kuro has been playing. He is that defensive support to save the Weaver so he can pop his cooldowns. But yeah, once you get that, maybe you Omni Slash him into something else.
Oh, there's the mindset from Hal. Scared to absolute death. Jirax is still sticking around with him. He wants to own this dire jungle. And how can... Well, he does spin up in a second. Not quite sure what that run was all about from Jirax, apart from just saying hello.
I think it might force Chuan to lay a sentry ward, though.
Sean and Moo are actually going to smoke again. They look up towards the top lane. It's the Weaver. That's the one they look towards. But to get close enough, like, Mind Control's just sitting there. He almost looks like an illusion when he doesn't react.
It's really hard with nighttime. And they don't have to have a sentry.
Well, they put the Obs and sentry on the cliffside instead. Yeah, Mind Control is away. KP still having himself a good time on bottom now with the Vanguard up as well as the mech. A level 11, so second point up in Warpath. They can start doing damage towards the towers. Chorn comes in from behind. Fada, they need to get some kind of control. Relocate, gonna bring in KP as well. Master forces it down, but the damage from Atonement is just so big. Combining up with the Magnetize, Fada might burn inside the Firefly, but the damage is just so huge from Team Liquid. Hal will be forced back underneath his own tier 3 tower. Mind Control diving under it to ensure the kill. They want to wipe Newbee out here, but KP is just so strong. He'll end up killing off Kuro. Matumban will TP out. You still got a 2-for-4 trade, however, in favor of Team Liquid.
And they've been ignoring the Bristleback in a lot of these fights, which is the correct solution when you have all these weak heroes in the back line and all of Newbee are falling without the Bristleback up in front.
Jirax gonna boulder away. I suppose they know they can get away with farming up a couple of these wards. You know, Mind Control on the run. He's underneath the Observer and Sentry, hence KP could do that. And by attacking like that, he reveals the fact there is vision there.
They need the Bristleback up in front. He can pop the Lincolns too on the Weaver once it gets to that point, but right now Newbee are just way too weak if they get focused. Anyone but the Bristleback, and Liquid are doing an extremely good job of killing the Wisp early on in the fights. A nice burst on a Moo, the Yules into the Earth Spirit setup.
Hao is being stalked so heavily by these two wolves. But yeah, what a hell of a fight in the mid.
And Kuro going in deep on the T3.
Oh.
But you don't want your Bristleback to be alive like this at the end of a team fight.
No. But what are you meant to do against it?
He needs to go up in front. He needs to force them to go on him. He needs to be on top of the Lycan. He needs to be on top of the Earth Spirit, be on top of the Death Prophet, so they have no choice.
The problem is he relocated in on that, and then they all split up.
Well, it might be better for them to have the Bristleback farm out in really dangerous positions and then relocate with the Juggernaut instead. Because if you relocate with the Bristleback, someone probably already got jumped.
So
on
you
your
so you
team.
make it so Liquid initiate.
Yeah, look at his
back.
position right now. Like now he's out in front, so now he will actually get jumped on, which is what they want him to do. But Liquid, they see him, they don't want to go on him at all.
Yep, instead they can find Moo over in the jungle, who's just trying to farm up. He's in Firefly at the moment. There's your silence on Moo, but still the Firefly is going to have a little bit more time. Jurex caught in the trees as Moo will blink himself over. That troll was actually nearby, but it didn't get the trap off, so we fired a dual scepter, put him up in the air. Moo will drop back down again, and then quickly munched up by the Lycan.
And they've not been able to do much on the Bat Rider. 1 and 5 on Moo. They need to Battle Fury up soon on the Juggernaut to deal with the amount of summons. They don't have that much damage. They're having a difficult time bringing down the Death Prophet, even with 4 or 5 heroes focusing him at the start of the fight.
KP's trying to get Liquid to initiate on him. He understands that all 5 heroes are walking around, so here we go. He'll run himself in close, stance already with the names of Gu over on Matulman. Control him whichever way he possibly can. Turn the back, waste the Exorcism. Even with the Spirit Siphon, it's... like, Fada knows he's not really that much of a match for KP at the moment.
But Liquid finally realizing that Newbee are in formation with the Bristleback in the front. They cannot take that fight even with Exorcism up.
The Newbee gonna... okay, there's a wolf right next to him as KP slips himself into Roshan.
Tron will drop his F3. Or should.
Oh, they actually... okay, they commit the Mass Serpent Wards. They saw the wolf keel over, so they understand that they were being watched. But up on top lane, Mind Control's attacking into the tier 3 tower, so Newbee will be able to take Roshan. Remember, you have yourself, like if Hound moves over the side and TP's back, they can still defend it and then relocate up with KP as well as Taka. But the tier 3 tower is dropping quickly. Okay, Moo's trying to lay this up with the Firefly, but say goodbye to tier 3. Here comes the relocate, plus the TPs. KP's the first man in. They instantly focus Karkar down. He will not survive with this. Hound needs more damage, and he gets silenced up. He can't get his spin. He can't get the ulti off. The Aegis model will burn instantly. Fighter is still low, and with Karkar's buyback, now KP with the cool sprays really starting to stack up here. They're in a little bit of trouble. Matulman isolated out. Fighter is able to TP out with the Omni Slash. Matulman is mopped up. Kuro, the Nezuku is on him. The Flame Break will cancel this TP in time, so Newbee able to catch up to Kuro. They'll find this kill. They burn the Aegis, the Immortal, but damage is still done at home. The melee racks was lost for Newbee.
I say about an even trade for both sides. I think you'd be pretty happy to get a melee Rex at this point in the game, but yeah, give me up Aegis and a couple of kills in the process. And Wisp is just not playing very defensively at this point. He like relocated in right on top of the Rex and almost got hit by the Earth Spirit stun and then just immediately died.
It was that same problem again though, right? Like you had to come in with a Brussels back, which means you have to relocate to the front lines because that's where he needs to be. Like unless you like gave the TP over to KP, but
you can just TP with the Bristleback. He has TP scrolls.
And then just relocate the Juggernaut to the back lines, so you still get them all back.
They need him there to finish off the Roche with the minus armor from the goo.
Top lane's going to defend so far, making sure that Newbee just can't force out the top lane and relieve some of that pressure because the melee rack is down. Newbee getting the counter racks to stop the momentum swing to Liquid. It's very difficult when they have to burn through 3 towers to do it.
And Liquid are committing a lot to the mid-game items. We see the BKB coming out very soon on Death Prophet, Necro 3 coming out on Lycan, but they do have some late-game insurance with the Enchantress almost completing her scepter.
Mind Control, lassoed up, shackled, and then wards down. They really want this kill. Can he time lapse? No, he can't. That was actually a real nice couple of control abilities from Newbee. They don't have a lot to work with, but they made it happen. And now that's Battle Fury plus the early Basher coming in now for KP.
Very good at locking down that Lycan. Especially. And the Weaver, I guess if you get a lucky bash. But he realized that he has to be a threat in team fights. When you go pure tank with Mech and Crimson Guard, unless they focus you and you get a lot of stacks off, you're not going to be doing that much damage. And Basher, at some point, will make them focus them down.
This tier 1 tower looks near death. The Lycan is behind the lines, just trying to farm up his level 3 Necrobook, and Hal's now going to walk up and actually find Matulman over in the jungle. He potentially could just ulti, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Omni Slash it down. Is it enough damage? No, it's not. Matulman's still on the run. The Urn Charge got put on him, but Lycan will survive. And the relocate, Liquid know they're coming back, and that's why Fada is moving himself forward. KP makes himself a buff for the troll traps over on Karkar. They really hate that IO. He'll make a break for the tree line, but the Beatles get on the back of him. They need to break Karkar free of this, And with a Meg charge, maybe they can survive. In fact, Mind Control in too deep. The kick will fly through. The damage is enough. Mind Control will drop before he can get the time lapse off, but now the jump forward from Newbee. They're here on the rampage. Needs to go over onto Fada. His Yule Scepter is available. Looks like he'll use it over on KP, removing him from the fight, but they still haven't killed off Kaka. Jirax turns on the Magnetize, causing issues, but there's more issues for Liquid as the shackles locking Jirax underneath that tier 1 tower. They're losing heroes left, right, and center. Moose was instantly looking for more as well, but this gives Newbee more kills plus this tier 1 tower.
Mind Control may be feeling a little bit safe now that Kuro had protected him from so many ganks, but now he just died 2 consecutive times, first feeding his 6-kill streak. And now Newbee, they finally found their way to fight.
That they did, and they found their way to an advantage. They are, for the first time in this game, holding the experience advantage. They're still repairing what was a 7.5k lead for Team Liquid net worth-wise, and they just keep going. Mass Serpent wants down. KP, he is the immortal tank right now for Newbee. On the front lines all the time, and Liquid are being forced to fight him. This has probably been the biggest change of all.
I don't know if they can kite him anymore, though. Now he does so much damage, they can sticky on the targets with a basher that kind of can't. And even the Crimson Guard is posing a lot of problems. They probably would have been able to do a lot more damage to the Wisp had that Crimson Guard not come out.
But Tumba committed pretty heavily to try and find that kill over on Mu. Necrobox, as well as his Shapeshift, doesn't find it. Top tier 1 tower's gone. House finding more and more farm.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
This is just a good time for if you're Newbee. They just have to wait for the next Roshan. So that's about 3 minutes potentially away.
I don't think the Lincolns has been that useful for the Weaver. It's good versus Batrider if they're split pushing, but in the middle of a team fight, he's just going to get gooed or Omni Slash by the Juggernaut, and both of those will pop it without really any loss to the caster. And Death Prophet almost completing the BKB, but really suffering in the armor department, and this is why KB can just own all of them.
I'm wondering, yeah, if that's the reason why KP's building into the AC and just leaving the Basher as a Bastion, not going for Abyssal or something.
Yeah, he doesn't have the Vanguard.
Yeah.
Well, he has Crimson Guard at this point,
Yes,
but I don't think you
part
want
of that.
Crimson in the Vanguard.
Oh, Mind Control. Instantly time lapse to get away, but Mu! He keeps up with him. The relocate comes in. It's going to be Fada who gets caught out. And Mind Control will TP back. Fada down for 43 seconds. This momentum is so heavily swinging the way of Newbee. Liquid need to stop the bleeding. They still have the melee racks on top. They still have momentum on that lane.
Was the BKB even justified this game on the Death Prophet? What is it particularly good against? It's good against Batrider, but I don't think Shadow Shaman can get to him because he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. I think maybe the Veil build might have been better. A little bit of armor. You can also do a little bit more damage with your Spirit Siphon.
Right now, Newbee just have a great combination of both magical as well as physical. Because KP got to that point, he can walk around and just like pump out the damage.
I think they had already shut down the Batrider enough.
Liquid just smoked underneath the Dire Observer Ward in the mid lane. So Newbee are fully aware of what Team Liquid are up to, and because of that, they just take the bottom tower. Hal's waiting for the last hit, now you'll get it.
And now they just TB KB in into the front, and they cannot go in on that. However, they need to make a move before the next Roche. I think Newbee will be very comfortable in taking a fight around there.
And not to mention Hal's getting into a better position, so he's going to have that Manta style. So the control coming in from Jirax is negated even further once he can dispel the silence. When it's a straight up fight.
Jirax does get a D-Ward in his own jungle, and trying to have the vision superiority in this area.
Well, they have it. Both teams, most of their warding is around Roshan. Liquid put one on the hillside, both at the west and the northeast part of the cliff.
And Newbee, one of the few teams that don't pick up a gem this early. Again, very important versus Lycan Wolves, very good against the Weaver, and even more importantly, take down the wards around the Roche pit. But I guess their supports like to play a little bit greedy, and that's paying off for Shadow Shaman. He was very poor at the start.
Liquid's preparing their push. Newbee also preparing to defend. Kaka, KP, and Sean all holding hands as they come to the bottom lane. There's no fortification for Newbee, so they may just let that tier 1 tower drop. In fact, it looks like they don't have any kind of choice. There's still a decent army there for Team Liquid. And KP, the frontliner.
Mu does have an invisibility room. This could be pretty big for them.
If he can get in close enough. He might also be very concerned there's a sentry ward down somewhere. In fact, there is, sitting right next to KP in the lane.
Radiant's top tower
Oh
is
yeah,
under
they
attack.
Liquid actually saw that with their observer ward. So maybe trying to bait out Moo.
Well, Moo's walked past the sentry position. In fact, Liquid are just bailing. They don't want to get involved here. In fact, they, mind control's already back up on that top lane.
But very unfortunately for Liquid and good for Newbee. Roshan's back up.
Quick spawn. And Kaka's gonna he's into the pit, scouts out Roshan. And now Newbee can bring him down fairly quickly.
That observer ward will miss, or that sentry ward will miss that observer ward, so Liquid will still have vision in this area without the aid of the wolves. And another sentry ward dropped, and it will be a miss.
At least they have their own obs and sentries. Smoke, Liquid did that underneath the dire observer ward. So again, Newbee, always aware of Liquid smokes. I think like the last 3 smokes of Liquid have actually been scouted out by observers.
Looks like they're trying to go the long way around, but Newbee trying to circumvent that by retreating to the left side. And it'd be far too risky for Liquid to actually go in the roach pit, so Newbee just need to bide their time until the smoke pops itself. And Liquid, who can they get the jump on?
I'm waiting for these scans to come out, but then again, you kind of know Moo. Okay, he thinks they're inside the pit. Firefly is up, and well, where is that jump? They trigger the Mantra illusions to now have a bit of a look around. The smoke is already broken for Liquid, so they have to bail out.
And with the BKB and Lincoln's cast onto the Death Prophet, he will be their main damage dealer, although that will leave the Weaver quite vulnerable with just a Dezo.
The ping's coming out about top lane. How has to move up to try and defend and get the momentum back. Kaka actually caught the bottom river. Okay, mind control now with that Desolator up does some good damage, and that's 50 seconds, no buyback over on this IO.
They didn't deward that observer ward, and with all those sentries around, you feel safe. You're like, oh, okay, I can probably get this through.
They literally got sentries on every single side of this observer ward, but they just can't see it. They're just not close enough.
That's a pretty common spot too.
Fada, using illusions. Keep their eyes on the pit. 26 seconds until Io is back.
And starting on the Roche.
Yeah,
They can send in Bristle though if they actually feel scared, or Moo can check in.
they should be really
Oh,
scared.
they see the storm. They have to know.
Yep, they're worried about Moo also with his flame break. If he cliffs anyone here, this is not going to be the dream fight for Team Liquid. There's still 4 inside the pit. Exism committed. Roshan's pretty low. KP walking inside the pit. Roshan, he belongs to the Weaver. The clipping doesn't happen for the flame break, but Moo will drag Fada up on the hillside with the Mount Serpent Ward. They'll isolate him up there. He'll still be up with his Exism, however, but this fight splits massively into different pieces. They're trying to get Fada back down again, but he just can't get off the cliff. Maybe with a Spirit Siphon, KP helping to stay alive. There's still no one dead in this entire fight. The Zax is prepping up for KP, but with the kick on Kaka and KP, they can't keep the momentum going. They're all just splitting up. No one's still dead yet. Fada, how is he still up here? He's playing King of the Hill. Now you lose 2. The Jirax, he boulders up and pushes Fada down, buying freedom for his core. But it's Mind Control who ends up how. They go for more. Moo with the flame break, pushing Fada back. Now KP can start over on Jirax. The stacks are high. Fada trying to isolate here with the Yule Step. The Mind Control stunned up. Linkers will break, but he'll time-lapse up all the damage, putting the Scarabeetles back onto the back of KP. Moo has to blink away to safety. You got the hunt going off from the Weaver. He's right behind Moo. He's not close enough to get the kill. Moo behind the tower. Mind Control keeps the chase going. Ghost Step will just amplify the damage of Mind Control. Literally run straight through him like he's absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, up on top lane, the range racks, Mind Control. One hit will do the job, doesn't even need it. The creep wave's there, but it's Chuan inside the base. Ghost Scepter will save him from the Geminate attack. KP has to come back up into defender Mind Control. He's coming in for round 2. The Shackles, maybe too greedy. Time lapse, where is it? 1 second on cooldown. He'll burn the Aegis, but he kills Chuan. Support coming up from the Aya, but KP's the only one here. Mind Control can just Akuchi himself away. Pushing the envelope, keeping Newbee down. You finish up the top racks. And what a hectic skirmish of a fight around Roshan.
I don't think KP has been playing particularly well this game. Right there, he could have cast Crimson Guard to help out his Shadow Shaman. And I think as soon as his Wisp dies in the pit and you see all of Liquid moving in, you start stacking up the Quill Spray right as they're inside the pit. And you know you're going to hit them. But he just went in way too late. By the time he went in there, the Aegis was already down. He's just relying way too much on the Batrider to make his plays. You have to go in there even without the Wisp. He hasn't died yet this game, but he's playing like he's died like 6-7 times this game.
I'm also wondering if cliffing Fada was the greatest idea ever, because you never got your damage out.
He also went in there to get into range of the Spirit Siphon. He would have died had he not gotten Spirit Siphon off onto the Bristleback.
Two melee heroes, and the hero you want to kill off ends up on a cliff. Trouble. Now Newbee, back to be aggressive.
And now Air Spirit had a sick roll and kick Fada off. I really like that
was
one.
pretty slick. All right, so Newbee, you're grouping up again around this bottom lane. KP's your front liner, but meanwhile, how? Team Liquid just found the opening. There's buyback on the Juggernaut. They still have the issue that the tier 2 towers are making it so they can't just slip themselves in through the top and take out the mid rank. So Newbee, the question is, do they try and defend? Radiant use their scan to try and see if Newbee are rotating up from the Radiant jungle. And Newbee go the long way around, which also brings them underneath that observer ward of Team Liquid. They're going to see Newbee back next to their own tier 2 on bottom.
And why have Newbee still not picked up a gem? I think they've needed one for a really long time. I don't think any of that would have happened. The Wisp wouldn't have died had they not had vision on him. And Newbee's still very reluctant to invest just at 900 gold.
If they finally got rid of that damn observer ward, commit 4 sentries, find no ward. So Liquid. Necros coming back off cooldown soon. So is the shapeshift. Kura's already walking around with his Aghanim Scepter, pumping out terrible points of damage, and you actually get a Shiva's Guard over on Death Prophet. You said Fada was having issues with armor. Not anymore.
And Newbee have not really been able to make use of the relocate. Ideally, you have a Shadow Shaman who can blink Hex, drop wards, throw shackles, and then into a relocate, or Bat Rider who can blink Lasso, but they've been just far too behind to make those sort of jumps and make full use of the IO.
And Newbee's still in a point where they can force the lane. Like, KP is still a beast. Can they just push him on the front line and play behind him? Like, attack the tier 3 towers?
I don't think so. If they attack the tier 3s, then they can easily wrap around. There's like 4 or 5 points of initiation that they can just jump the Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman does not have blink. He has Ghost Scepter, but that won't keep him alive for that long.
And it won't when you got a Diffusal Blade over on Mind Control. Yep. These Ghost Scepters don't protect you from anything. And Mind Control's almost at a point where he'll buy up a new item. He's sitting at 3.7k gold over on this Weaver. The Courier is actually coming up to pick up the rest of the Assault Cuirass.
Yeah, just imagine if Mind Control gets a BKB. He can just run rampant in these fights. There's no way that they can kill him. Any sort of physical damage he can just time-lapse off. And he can just kill the Shadow Shaman before the BKB pops off. The Wisp as well.
Liquid are coming again. Just around the front of Roshan. Okay, they don't really find the target they're searching for, and with the pressure being applied to the tier 2 tower by Hao, they don't want to get involved. And in fact, Hao just uses it like, okay, Liquid TP back, shot, spin safely to the TP to the tier 2 on bottom lane. It's a creep wave and a half coming up that way. But you're pumping all this money into the Juggernaut. What item does he get which really changes this fight? Like, does he actually have to go into control? Should he be the Abyssal Blade kind of guy?
No, that's Bristle's job. Bristle already has AC in the Basher, so I think he can just go more survivability.
So how does Hao build?
You don't necessarily want a Scotty versus Death Prophet because of HP, but I think he might need it. It gives him a little bit of additional armor, and versus the pure damage from Enchantress, I think he needs HP to tank up. It's also just really nice with the healing ward, and he's generally not getting tethered by the Wisp. What other item? Butterfly I think is pretty good too.
Yeah, on the lineup, well then again, you could get the Monkey King Barret from Mind Control, but instead he's going for a heart. So, okay, Newbee needs so much damage.
Yeah, I think Butterfly's the item for him.
We'll find out if he agrees in just a bit. But now everything's just starting to simmer until Newbee are ready to come back out. They group up as 4 inside their own base. A couple of fresh 4-stars over for both the Enchantress as well as for Chuan. So each team getting a little bit more maneuverability in the next fight.
They're getting stalked by wolves, at least for the most part. And looks like a 4-man smoke, 3-man smoke. 3-man.
Liquid. Curious can at least get someone like their high ground vision up. That's why Newbee also did a lane ward, a prep ward for this fight. They don't want to let Liquid have this tier 2 tower easily, but Liquid They wrap around the side. Now, NewBee does not have a defensive ward for this, but they are smoked up behind the tower. Here comes the Lycan Wolf. So we'll have a bit of a peek in behind the tier 2. Not see any heroes, but this smoke, it'll last for another 5-ish seconds. So they'll know something is wrong because top lane is just forcing in so hard.
Even though they didn't get a good engage, they still got 2 really good observer wards plopped down by Jarex during that. In NewBee, they don't have sentries, and they have eyes on a Shadow Shaman pinging him out.
Well, they know Chuan for KP, 4-star, they push him into the fight. He turns his back pretty quickly, wants to evade the bugs, but Chuan, he's stunned, kicked around, silenced up, the mech charge comes off. NewBee need to survive this if they want to win the game, but they can't really do it when Fata triggers his BKB all over him. Matumba's locked in by the last two, but it's not enough damage. How? Now into the Omni side. The damage is splitting up because they're just so close. In for the spin, he'll get himself away. The stun's there from KP, and now still double kill for Fata. The Exodus has done some serious lifting in this fight. The KP wants to keep going. You've got Kaka lassoed up. Can they hold him there? Fata's dropping low. 4-star up. He's almost down, but he's not down yet. How? Explodes right behind him. KP can't keep up, and now it's 4 Liquid players around KP. He'll start the TP, but unsuccessful. KP is dropping quickly, and NewBee, they'll be wiped. And this should even be potentially the game. You've only got buyback over on this Bristleback. Liquid are coming in to take out that mid-rack if possible. The tier 2 tower on bottom lane's going to follow the creep wave momentum anyway.
Yeah, Mind Control was just able to get in those back lines and drop all those Ghost Scepters. I think he used 4 or 5 Diffusal Blade charges there, and everyone just dropped. And yeah, they can just ignore the Bristleback at this point.
Gotta love that low cooldown.
Yeah.
Has fallen.
A nice play from Fata, dishing out a ton of damage and getting, he like gets low enough to the point where NewBee wants to go on him.
Hunting. They want to try and get some extra kills. Instead, it's the Yule Scepter. Mu finds himself into deep. KP also stunned up. Chuan, he's locked with the Spirit Siphon. You can say goodbye to the Shaman. KP looking for some revenge on Mind Control, but Mind Control right in the back of Kaka. Tries to tether away, can't do it. The last who's there for Mu. Mind Control still alive at the moment, and Tyler's of all the damage. They've lost too much. The damage is too great. They are bleeding out right now, NewBee. Liquid are all over them. And they can keep pushing through if they want to. That tier 2 is still up on bottom lane, but you won't really care once you take out this mid-melee Rax. KP is desperately scrambling defense. He's got Juggernaut up in 6 seconds time. But Liquid aren't leaving. The bottom tower is taken out by the Lycan. They're pushing for Megas. And here comes Matumbaman. Necro's looking to go. GG. NewBee will accept it. We'll have ourselves a decider between NewBee as well as Team Liquid to decide who will go through to the Manila Major Grand Final.
And in both games, the safe lane for the losing team was just way too weak. This game, just the Enchantress and the Weaver were able to crush both of NewBee's heroes, and without the Lion, they're hard-pressed to find a good substitute for that hard lockdown for Chuan.
Yeah, but that line was banned down so early on, and it really was something like, and you're seeing it halfway through.